G'day! G'day, my name is Mark and I need to raise some cash monies. G'day, my name is Dainsy and I have a massive debt to pay. My name is Dainsy and I've got no money. My woodworking money, my side hustle cassiola. My name is Dainsy and I'm preparing a whole heap of timber as I prepare my future self with a set of skills I call full business human. But first, a little backstory. Who doesn't love a backstory?
G'day, his name is Mark, and his good mates call him Dainsy. So guess what? That is what he wants you to call him from now on.
I have to make a piece of commercial furniture, and I have to do it way cheaper than the going rate of about $1,500 to $4,000. One more project. G'day, my name is Dainsy, and this is me trying to walk and talk that I'm making some changes to the Backyard Bandit shed operations. Oh, those asking for the slide, I'm feeling a bit old in the hips at the moment, so I'm just going to use the chair a little bit more. G'day, my name is Mark and I have this massive Merbau pallet. G'day, my name is Mark and I'm sorry, but this channel is not about using just a hammer and a saw. G'day, my name is Dainsy, and this is my serious face. It is decision time. Can I finally go full business human? G'day, my name is Mark, and I've just collected 20 pallets at the start of cyclone season. Anyway, imagine if all those 80s movies had battery-powered chainsaw. Just not as scary, is it? G'day, my name is Mark. And I did not want to make this video. G'day. My name is Mark, and my table saw just shit itself. The only problem with nostalgia is it takes too long to get there. Is that the saying? It's one of my old man's sayings. Or is it nostalgia? Not what it used to be. G'day, my name is Dainsy, and I'm going to create some nostalgia. G'day, my name is Mark, and I make every piece of the pallet count. G'day, my name is Mark, and I believe I am the dumpster whisperer. Fair dinkum. G'day, my name is Mark, and I have pulled apart many pine pallets. G'day, my name is Mark, and I do not have $30,000 worth of tools.
I just want to join pieces of wood to other pieces of wood, do art and buy groceries. I want to be able to afford sourdough by the loaf, egg by the dozen, bacon by the things. I want to get a little bit of almond milk, a little bit of avocado, maybe a jar of olives if things are going well. Most importantly, I just want to make cool stuff, be excellent to each other, and then fade off into obscurity.
And I get to show you. For this project, I've busted out my best pallets. I've dove through the dumpster to get the particle board, and I've also been donated a heap of hardwood decking, and it is absolutely beautiful. Now I've got to chamferize all of that. Under here is the MDF board. I've chamferized all of these pieces after I've thinned them out. If the test doesn't work, you won't see the chamferization again. I'm going to do some more of this. 5 more of thises.
Okay, so it's okay when you don't use pallet wood.
Of course it is, mate. If you'd like to know what this conversation is all about, you're going to have to go and have a gander at Jester's video.
What is a gander? He says, have a look.
David Kelly, I salute you. Seriously, if you want some of these pallets, you just got to find yourself a David Kelly. These are the stretches off those massive pallets. I'm going to go through the normal routine, check for any nails, send them through the jointer, square them up, table saw, the thicknesser, call it a thicknesser because that winds up the yanks. Zig, zag, zig, zig. I'll just turn it around. Still a zig. In situ. Situ. Dickhead. Ha ha! Pretty stoked. Pretty stoked. I did go a little bit wide with my bricks. So rather than load up the saw, I'll flip it over and then cut the other side in 2 passes to get my veneers. The bonus is the blade is further away from the meaty things. I've almost tripled the surface area of these beautiful, glorious, some might say magical pallet wood laminations could have ever originally covered. I don't even know if that sentence makes sense, but you know what I'm saying. A little trial and error, few adjustments as you go, and you'll be laughing like a big grey hairy spider. I also love a good chamferisation. So I'm going to create this cladding appearance by ripping down, cleaning up, resawing, all those good things out of some pallet wood pine. I think I went about 3 years before I knew the benefit of this low fence. Fair dinkum. OSB with a very thin layer of ply, and the biscuit cutter pretty much has smashed up the OSB. More glue, more clamping, all is going smooth. I think the humidity's getting to my brain because I never make mistakes. Alrighty, here we go. I'm going to cut the lid off this massive box on the table saw. The blue tape routine is to get a nice flat surface. I'm taking my time, nice and easy. It is safe. It is big, but it is safe. I'm sweating my freckle off in the shed, and as you can see, the blade was not quite high enough. So I had to do all that again. Okay, here's a little side hustle tip. As you start making a few projects, showing the world everything that you can do, you are going to get rando requests like this box. Custom commissions can generate great revenue. One-off individual pieces that the customer really, really, really wants you to make are worth more money. So to quickly link back to my point about using every piece of the pallet, I have created enough decorative veneer to create at least 2 custom unique projects, and that is all going to help the side hustle bottom line. Didn't think I'd be using this again. With the table saw out of action, I thought I'd make a quick video on how I actually started out making haul tables. Now, I wanted to make this video anyway. The table saw shitting itself has bumped it up the list. I had the basic power tools, circular saw, router, a couple of drills, belt sander, sliding miter saw. The goal here is to see how long this table actually takes me and how much pallet punter casciola I can make. And then I'll give you my best guesstimation. That means I'm gonna pluck it out of my freckle. Just remember, it does not happen overnight. Investing back into yourself is going to be the key to productivity. Like getting one of these pneumatic de-nailers. It shoots the nails out. I do like to use as much of the pallet as possible because, you know, it's hard yakka. Except these blocks. I never use those. Who wants to watch a video about that? I've got 20 pallet slats here that I've put one straight edge on outside with the day one straighten jig. I've got one nice flat side for the glue up and this pretty dodgy side, which I'm not too concerned about. It just means a couple of extra passes with the router. Doing that inside in the shade, probably more fun than doing it outside in the heat. Modern glue is a magical thing. Okay, for today's hello dickhead moment, make sure that your sled is taller than your slab. Dickhead. Using a router to flatten a slab, it is dusty, it's messy, shit goes everywhere, and it's a fair whack of physical effort. However, it is a great way to produce a flat, slabby timber thing, make more tables, make more cash. I will not let you fly off the bench. I promise that I will not sand your power cord this time. The biggest way that you can help me is by binge watching my channel. Catch you later. Simple joinery, glue, screws, and some paint to hide the less aesthetically pleasing features. So here it is, a basic hallway table with a nice pallet wood slat top sitting on a white washed pine frame. This is my most sellable combination. Some of the approved treatments are HT, heat treated, KD, kiln dried, I've never seen that, MB, methyl bromide. Andy is the SME for MB. He is the subject matter expert for methyl bromide. So regardless what stamps are on those pallets, even the pallets with no stamps at all, they have all been now fumigated with methyl bromide. And you need a license to use it. It's bad. It's bad stuff. And to quote Andy, one sniff and you'll be stiff. Now stick with me, here comes the good oil. The methyl bromide fumigation process, without boring you, it is heated to 70 degrees and fumigated as a vapor. And it can penetrate deep into your pallet, as in right inside the timber. If there is air, MB is there. Here's the science, and here is the good part. Methyl bromide dissipates back into the atmosphere at room temperature. Let me read this part. No pallets are released to anyone without a TLV of 1 ppm, that's 1 parts per millionth. So the nasty bugs, they're dead. The methyl bromide has dissolved, disappeared, gone, left the building well before this pallet arrives in your woodworking shed. Methyl bromide kills the bugs and pisses off real quick. That's it. And to quote Andy again, you could eat off those methyl bromide pallets if you really wanted to. I still have no regrets about selling the bandsaw. I'm still not regretting. I'm busting out the Shimbinator 3000 for a couple of reasons. One reason so I can do this. This video is not just about the press, it's about pallet wood and joinery, strong joinery. If you want to check that out next, that'd be awesome. Clamps cost a lot of money. This press is a clamp and it only cost me 50 bucks. It's a shoulder vise. It's very versatile. So even for this small little glue up today, I'm going to use the press. A couple of F clamps would obviously do the job. If you don't have a couple of F clamps and you're thinking, what should I spend my money on first? Just think outside the box. Whoa! Now, if you saw the video where I put this vise to the test, you'll remember that I said I need to reinforce down there. Clearly, I forgot. Okay, so there'll be no maiden voyage today. F-clamps. For the handle, I'm going to use spotty gum. If you don't agree that it's spotty gum, let's just call it its scientific name. Hardius is Facarius. I find what I want and I don't take what I don't want. Just leave it there. Sometimes you can simply drive the streets in an industrial area, spot some pallets near the bins, or just go in and ask, are these going to the dump? If the answer is yes, just take it, recycle it, turn that pallet into something else other than landfill. Hello? I think I've just hit the jackpot. The keen eye would have spotted the blue pallets. In 5 years, I think I've only picked up about 4 of these. Why? That's because they're not for the taking. These ones were in the bin, and if I don't take them, they are going in the ground. You've got to ask yourself though, are they worth the effort? They are often split, rotted, full of nails, and mostly falling apart. Short answer is yes, they are amazing timber. I was gonna say, first one, gotta beat. It's gonna be a long day. 50 minutes on the metal detector for 188 slats of pellet. There is a reason that I've been keeping all of the individual pallets stacked in their individual piles as I work through each stage of the process, and that is because now they all have to go through the thicknesser, and to save time winding the thicknesser up and down, which is very annoying, that is probably the most efficient way to do it. So everything's got to go through the thicknesser, both sides, to get a nice clean face ready for gluing. Here is all the broad pallets, and here is all the thinner pallets. This is the safer later pile, like the pile used for this box, using up all the scraps. And this is the waste. Very thin strips. I don't want these. They are going to go to the green waste dump and return to nature. This massive pile is all the stretches off the 19 pallets. Not going to use them in this video. then run them all through the saw. Gives me a quick artificial straight edge, and it is super fast. I'll send one side across the jointer to get it nice and flat. Then I'll send everything through the thicknesser, get everything nice and parallel and flat, and the same thickness. If you don't have the big machines, I've got the video on Back to Basics right up. So busting down 19 pallets and turning them into glorious slabs of timber has taken me about 12 hours. Now if I'm going to pay myself about 70 bucks an hour plus tax, this pile of wood owes me about $924 in labour. Now I know the possibilities of all of this timber, and I'm very confident that I can make that labour money back. Just at a glance, there is 9 slabs suitable for hallway tables, and it does not take much effort to knock up some frame for those. And going back to the Back to Basics video, I'm pretty confident I can get at least 300 bucks for some basic hallway tables. So the big question of the video, is this worth it? My fur coat it is. I've picked up these pallets for free. I've spent enjoyable woodworking time preparing all the timber. Now I get to do more woodwork and turn these slabs into creative things. Now this is a hobby slash side hustle. I love to make things, I also love to sell things, so worth it for sure. Cassiola on the side, happy day. The theme of this one is pretty simple. Just get started. And I want to share my thoughts on tools, and it's also a bit of a look around the shed, so please stick around. You are going to need tools. You can try and do it with just a hammer and a saw. Now that would be impressive, and I'll be the first to sub up to your channel if you do. So let me know. I want to throw this out early. Buy once, cry once. You're going to hear that a lot as you watch YouTubers, research forums on tools, all that sort of good stuff. But in my opinion, if you do just buy once, cry once, you are never going to just get started. Tools cost money. However, jump onto Facebook, you are more than likely going to find a bundle of tools like this for not much money to just get started. I set myself a few rules. I want this hobby to pay for itself. Okay, that is only one rule, but it is still a rule around here, and it is still the #1 rule. They are great tools that you can beat the snot out of. At about the same time, I thought I would step into the future and get a couple of battery-powered tools to make life a little easier. I instinctively engaged tight-ass mode and headed straight to the El Cheapo store brand, where I could get 3, 4, or even 5 tools for the price of one top-quality tool. And they had a 5-year warranty, which means you can beat the snot out of them and then swap them out for a newbie when they die. Happy days! I need a table saw. For 50 bucks, I managed to pick up what I think was the first table saw ever made by man. Fair dinkum. In fact, it also flipped over to become a miter saw. This particular table saw had 0 safety features, but I made it work for the very short time I had it. What it did do was confirm for me that a table saw would be my first major purchase. Make more tables, make more cash, buy a table saw. And I'd be laughing like a big grey hairy spider. Buy once, cry once. Not really. I bought twice, and I sold the old thing for 70 bucks, so I made a profit. Captain Obvious. You can sell your old tools. Someone will buy them. My next major purchase was going to be a thicknesser. Yes, a thicknesser. Yanks. Okay, a thickness planer. A planer thicknesser. Alright, moving on. Same routine. Make furniture, make cash, buy the next machine. I really did earn this thing. I was about 80 pieces of furniture in before I bought the thicknesser. Those 80 pieces of pallet wood slab top furniture were all flattened with a router and sled by hand. It was hard yakka, slow going, and it made a huge mess every single time. But the router will let you just get started. Okay, I don't really know how to wrap that up into a nice moral of the story quote, so let me refer you to another rule around here. Be excellent to each other. Pretty simple. Even if you have plenty of cash to burn, do you really want all that shit in your shed? I don't. You're naturally going to gravitate to the types of projects that you want to make, so therefore your tools are going to be directed to those that you need for those projects. If you're going to get into the pallet wood game, let me share with you just 2 tools that will make your life easier. They will save you time and save you a heap of money. Pneumatic denailer. It shoots the nails out. It does come with the cost of a compressor. I used to borrow one. Anyway, your shoulders are going to thank you, and so is the time clock. A metal detector. Get one. Get one early. Don't be like me. This thing is going to save you a lot of money because you're not going to hit nails and hidden screws with your nice blades on all your machines. Dickhead. Nice to haves can come later. Don't get overwhelmed by all the good shit that you see in everyone else's videos. Alrighty, final word on buy once, cry once. That phrase is mostly used by people who have the money, or they're smart business people who are making a capital investment, but I'm willing to bet this pallet lamination that the buy once, cry once people have indeed bought twice before, many times. They just got smarter as they went. Okay, do what you have to do to just get started. You are gonna love it. Catch you later. Quick recap of my backstory. I have been at this for about 5 years. Very early, I decided this hobby would become a side hustle. And I've always said to myself that I am building a backup plan to one day live the dream. What I need is a metaphor, which will be this bamboo that I planted 12 years ago. And now I have this beautiful thing. My tight arsedness simply won't allow that extra money. I'll just continue to follow my safety mantra, a routine I heard off a bloke I watched on the internet. This was well before I knew what a YouTuber even was. Anyway, his name was Izzy Swan, and this is what he said. Every time you step up to the table saw, have a routine, a safe routine, and tick it off and turn on your brain. Or something like that. But I stick with that. It's been working just fine. A safety mantra. Like these blokes. They have a safety mantra. They stick to their safety mantra. So why don't you go check them out? As I rolled into 2023, life things happen and I have found myself a little bit time poor. A little under the pump. I've got less time in the shed to make things, and that's okay. But don't worry, I have a plan and I have plenty of videos coming because I have everything I need right here in the shed and just outside. Now you gotta say check square. I've got a workspace, I've got all the tools needed and plenty of timber stock. When I look around, there is literally timber everywhere. There is money everywhere. I just need time. And how I make that time is to simply use what is here right now. Wood that is almost ready to go. No searching for pallets, no chasing reclaimed timber, no going for the supplies unless I really need to. Alrighty, back to how I'm going to raise this money. I'm going to make things and I'm going to sell things. Genius. In the past, I would make an item, sell an item, take the cash, put it in my Grundy drawer, make an item, sell an item, cash in the Grundy drawer. Pretty easy, hey? Go back to the drawer, take the cash out, fuel up the car, go to the movies, and all that sort of good thing. So up and down until I eventually had the cash for the next major machine, which I was happy with. This is a side hustle. Happy days. However, like my bamboo, things can start to get a little out of control. Sometimes you have to step back and look at the big picture. How's my metaphor coming along? From now on, money is going in the bank. I simply have to get smarter with what I charge. I have to get smarter with my time. So I have set a goal and I need to let that capital build up. I'm going legit, full business human, but still a side hustle, of course. I'm building a backup plan. If you feel like helping me kick off this money-making extravaganza, you can check out my mallets that I have available on my website. Self-promotion, essential for going full business human. Not sure why my stool's going down. Let's wait. Okay, let's quickly look around at what I've actually got in here that I can turn into monies. I have these slabs ready to go. I worked out on average that these took about 40 minutes each to make, and then decided that this pile owes me about $900 in labor. I could make a heap of hallway tables and flog them off, and I'd probably have the cash I need, but that would be incredibly boring for me and for you. If this thing is still kicking, why upgrade? Why not just keep doing what I'm doing? Here comes the metaphor. My bamboo is actually getting a little out of control. It needs a fair bit of attention. It needs some maintenance before something gets broke. Like the fence, and costs me more time and more money. That's money out of the drawer or the bank. And that is my roundabout way of saying I'm going to buy a new table saw. Okay, that is not the metaphor. My business needs attention. It needs some maintenance. I need to step back and look at what is important. Because my available time has been so reduced, I need to be more smarter and get much better at being a business human. And I believe this goal to raise money with what I have got is going to do that for me. I have showed you how to make money. What I need to do is make time. I can't take time. I can't waste time. Right now, the world seems to want to take more of our money for no good reason. How we take it back is making smarter money. Getting off our freckles and getting to work. Have a look around your shed right now. What can you capitalize on? Without going to buy timber stock and supplies, you'll be surprised how much is hiding in your space. Okay, I have set a goal and I am going to ask you to hold me to it. I'm going to learn from my mistakes and make every minute count out here, so when this new machine arrives, my business will be healthier. I would have made many cool, enjoyable things, produced plenty of enjoyable videos, I hope, and saved up some cash. Alrighty, lesson 1, time. Don't waste it. Time. Your time, value it. If the customer does not value your time, they are not your customer. Say no to the wrong things and say yes to the right things. Okay, final moment, if you don't mind. All of you have helped me get to this point right now, which I cannot thank you for enough. I need to do this for me, so I can keep doing this for you, for us. Alrighty, back to how my story actually begins. And it did not start with this massive pallet. It began with these skateboards. Say yes to the right things and no to the wrong things. This, my friends, I hope was a right thing. Long story short, I was contacted by a potential customer if I could build a dining table out of recycled skateboards. I said, sorry, I simply don't have enough skateboards for that size project and I did not want to commit my precious supply. The customer came back to me and said, if I can get the skateboards, would you be interested? Me? Yeah, sure. If you can source them, I will make the table. I was quietly confident I wouldn't be making the table. Hi Mark, I've got the skateboards. Where would you like me to send them? Here we go. Oh, and also nothing too chunky. Well back, I work with pallets. They have to be chunky. It needs chunky, rustic charm, don't they? I'm going to have to get my woodwork on to try some new things and meet the client brief. How can I de-chunkify this build? Taperization. That's how. I have never cut a tapered leg on a table ever. And it is not actually that hard to do, so I discovered. I took one of my straightening jigs, screwed on some tapering angles and stops, then simply cut 2 sides of each leg, do the same thing 4 times, and hey presto, taperization complete. Woo! Woo! I now truly understand the wool. You gotta celebrate as you go. Woo! I don't have a CNC, so I've come up with another way, a way I lost many hours of sleep over. Okay, let me bring in for a live update. So I've made this segmented ring. This is going to prove the concept before I use the skateboards and make a meal of it. So I need to cut the corresponding curve of the circle, which using my center hole and then just dragging the route a bit to the inner edge cut. Then in theory, this arc should fit perfectly onto that semicircle. Can you hear my brain thinking? Neither can I. Let's give it a bash. Not gonna lie, a little bit nervous. I left myself a note last night to cut the outside first. If I cut the inside, there's nothing for this thing to actually sit on top of.
Safe to say I was very happy that these semicircles are cut perfectly. There was no backup stock. I have the 80 hardware sections of skateboards, which again needs a fair bit of persuasion to get them laminated together, which has worked a treat and will give me more rainbow stock that I can use for the edge capping later. Again, I have to work within the limits of the table saw to get these squared up. The jointer and the thickness of planer would blow them up. Oh, check out those offcuts. I think I can use those as well a bit later on. License to go nuts. I mean, be creative. Veneering is a beautiful thing. And if you can't get hold of broken skateboards, you can use pallets. And if you're gonna ask me where to get broken skateboards, there is a video down below by Ben. It is time to start to bring all this action together with my favourite type of woodworking, tight bond and clamps. Great things can happen when you glue wood together. Bust out the belt sander and a round over on the edges. Happy days. Now, I did promise I'll share my money making extravaganza and lessons learnt in my latest video. The obvious lesson for me is, do you know that part of your body that looks like a rusty bullet hole? Don't pluck a figure out of there. When quoting, take a bit of time and try and work it out. Anyway, as you know, I'll be paid $1,000 for this piece. I have spent about $200 on plywood, tight bond, finish and hardware, and I have spent about 20 hours making this project. So on the net, that's about $40 an hour, and I still have to pay the taxman. The question is, did I say yes to the right thing? And did I get smarter at being a business human? Yes. Yes, I did. I am very happy with the side hustle profit level. I would not want to run a full-time business with that level of profit. What this project did do for me is establish what 20 hours of pretty full-on work looked like, and that'll be a great reference point for me in the future when I start to get a little more serious about quoting. G'day, my name is Dainsy, and these are some of the reasons why I still use pallet wood. Number 1, they are free. Number 5, the colours. When it comes to species of timber, specifically pallet, I can tell what is pine and what is not pine. Number 6, the transformation. Number 9 is thrill of the hunt. It still blows me away today that I still find hidden gems in pallet wood. This project is no exception, with those 3 beefcake stretches of Hardy's Vicarious that I found on one of them is bonus reason 1. Exercise. Woodworking is simply unbelievable for your mental well-being, as we all know. What busting down pallets gives me is a little bonus exercise, and when time is the precious commodity, I get to look after my physical health whilst feeding my wood addiction. It is also the best time to think about the project. It does take a few extra hours to get your timber ready, but you maximise that time pondering all the woodwork things, or whack on some music and just chill out. Either way, you are looking after yourself, and you know, feeling good on the inside. Oh! 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 Check it out! Okay, number 12, which is the second bonus reason. You do you. Don't let other people's opinions and attitudes or social media posts influence you on what you should be doing. You may see the non-pallet wood woodworkers wearing the stock making pallet wood furniture t-shirts, or you will see some reels and shorts showing you the best use of pallets and then them throwing them on the fire or in the dumpster, etc. Just remember, all of those things are for attention or to appeal to their audience, or they really fucking hate pallets. Again, just get started. There is heaps of free wood out there. Or buy it, or whatever. You just do you. Okay, the absolute final reason, which is number 13. You, the audience. The people who tune in to watch me make stuff. You have been the most motivating and encouraging bunch of people on the entire internet. I get loads of emails and messages from people who just want to show me what they have made, which is very cool. But the ones that get me good are the ones that say, I just got started. Okay, so thank you. I'm using the leftover plywood from my last project, which when I glue them together gives me a continuous length of 2.8 meters, or about 9.5 feet for those who refuse to use a tape measure. I have chosen a pattern that won't waste too much stock, but also look a little groovy with the plan I'm forming in my brain. I conducted some extensive market research to figure out what type of furniture piece would have a good chance of selling. My market research consisted of sitting in front of the TV and looking at all the streaming services and the amount of TV content. It is literally out of control, which said to me, people are staying in more than ever and binging the new TV shows. So with all those big flat screen TVs out there, surely someone will want a nice, new, unique TV cabinet. Made from pallet wood, market research complete. I think I'm going to have to put my big boy shorts on and just get started. See what I did there? Here is my hello dickhead moment. This section will not be bent. It is on top of the cabinet. I need to keep cutting in the other direction to create these curvy mid-curve face supports. I am starting to cruise along now. Trimming goes on, more fluff to hide the things, more steps, more time. However, all is going quite well. Happy days. Let me show you what I have managed to do at the 19-hour mark into this project. During the clamp up of this side of the cabinet, I have managed to skew or pull this end off square. Didn't check square, just clamped it up. You can see the distance up here is quite large and down here is not. I still have a few minor decisions like draw pulls, a few tidy ups here and there, as well as putting on the backing board. The project so far has taken me about 27.5 hours. The business human plan was to charge an hourly rate plus materials. I used roughly 3 sheets of ply, believe it or not, plus hardware, bits and pieces. That cost came to about $300. If I'm going to charge $75 an hour plus materials, I am looking at a recommended retail price of 2,300 Aussie dollars. Can I get that? Should I ask that? What do you think? I don't really know. I plucked from my brain with the hope of selling it to raise the funds for Operation Table Saw Upgrade. I am still hopeful. For these projects, I'm going to revert back to what I know should work. Projects that normally sell pretty easy, lower price point and far less work, which is a hallway table. How it all started. Another of Harley's subjects requires a mini business plan to be produced. So while I'm going full business human, he is going full mini business human. Now, just like back at high school, the timber was always prepared, squared up and ready to go because time is of the essence, which is the same here in the shed. The idea is also to focus on getting comfortable with the machinery, attempt the cool stuff and leave the boring hard yak at the dad. I want him to come back. Right, back to the hallway table. And what I like to call bricklaying the pallet wood. There is many ways to get this done. Your tools and machinery will soon dictate that to you in your shed. The secret though is making sure all your bricks are dimensioned to the exact same size and they are nice and square. I used to make these bricks way back. When I did not have a thickness planer or a jointer, I would flatten all my slabs by hand with a router. Then I would slice up the bricks on the table saw, remembering that there is nothing a belt sander can't fix. Hopefully you're enjoying this cheesy 80s music montage. And you are getting pumped up like you would watching the Karate Kid wanting to have a go for yourself. So you can either create yourself these big box joints and glue the corners or the waterfall up as step 1, or create your top and your sides separately, clean them up, bash them together with a nail. Okay, quick update. This is basically what the corner pieces would look like as you laminate the big box or the finger joints together. What I would do is get a nice perfect square corner to start with, and I would set myself up to start some sort of stagger. None of these pieces are ever the same, it does not matter. I will then stick it on a flat surface, make sure this is right angles to the bench, work my way along for the short side, clean that up with the belt sander, etc. I'll then flip it over and make my way along the entire bench, bricklaying as I go. And because I don't actually have enough pallet wood to do the side and the top, and I also want to try something new, I also need a little bit of contrast and some serious check squaring to make sure this works first attempt. So again, I use spacers to help set my box joint and a whole heap more check squaring and double check squaring. If this glue up is just millimeters out of whack, it is going to stand out like you know what on a small yellow bird. I'm doing my young fella a solid and cleaning up all his pieces with the machines. His first experiences with a hand plane should not be with my less than awesome sharp plane blades. Once I learn to sharpen properly, then we will move on to hand tools. Going to use my vise and anger. I'll admit it's not the fastest vise in the world. What do you got to say?
Check square.
Right, song change, and we are back to the bricklaying. Lay down some baking paper underneath and then simply work your way along. Test out what looks nice before you commit to the tight bond. The main reason I don't cut my bricks the same size, a la real bricks, is to limit the waste of the pallet slabs. I merely cut off the bricks wherever that length of pallet stops looking good, as in where all the ends of the pallets meet. Harley is on the job trenching out the log. The legs will sit nicely in these recesses after some delicate chisel work with the 50mm Narex weapon. All the pieces are coming together now, and this bench is going to look pretty rad. What is even cooler, the big log was given to us by Harley's Poppy, so I'm pretty stoked with how it is working out. Pop will be proud as a proud thing. I have these sampler tins of Whittle Wax Hard Wax Oil. In short, I love them already. I was well and truly overdue to try some new finishes that are not polyurethane. With the whole table finished, I decided to list the piece on Facebook Marketplace because I have had a lot of luck with this furniture category on that platform. It can be a little bit of a minefield of time wasters and a lot of people who don't value your time or work, they just want a bargain. Lucky for me, I found a nice buyer who does appreciate my stuff. I listed it for 500 kangaroo. The buyer stopped by for a look and offered $450. So now Harley's bench is done, and I think it looks pretty special. We have had a lot of fun working through this project, learning new things, getting used to machines, and of course spending quality time together. That has been pretty unreal. Again, we listed his bench on Facebook Marketplace for $350. No real interest initially, so I threw it up on my website and sold. Happy days. I tell Harley making stuff is cool, selling your stuff and making a few coins is even cooler. Here's where the story gets a little bit different. I check out the shipping details and I immediately freak out when I see the address is overseas somewhere. I did not tick local pickup only. I have no idea where this person lives and I cannot even pronounce their name. It seems a bit odd. I then see a little note attached to the order. And to paraphrase, this person has been following along on Instagram and loves seeing a dad and his son making things. It reminded him of his dad and now himself with his own daughter. He also loved that the big log was from Harley's Poppy, so he bought the bench. Why? Simply because he wanted to see Harley give that bench back to his Poppy and keep it in the family. I was absolutely blown away, to say the least. Now, this person did a pretty good job at remaining anonymous with their very fake name and dodgy address. However, they did make a little mistake by paying with PayPal. So I got a separate receipt that had their full, real name. This was such a beautiful gesture, and I know that random internet person wants to remain anonymous. So I'm not going to name them. However, if you'd like to check out this video next, Catch you later.
I just want to join pieces of wood to other pieces of wood, do art and buy groceries.
Project finished in time, I have asked Sam from Gumtree Hill Woodwork to help me out. Not only is he a guru at joining pieces of wood to other pieces of wood, he's pretty handy with SketchUp. I gave him one of my quick sketches and said, do magical things. It'll be a cool way to make me try new things, get better at woodwork, solve other things, and hopefully share some cool ideas. And of course to try and sell this and try and make some cassiola or sourdough and avocados. These are the stretchers left over from the 19 pallets that I harvested last year to establish, are these worth it? It was. I like recycling. That's what I do. It makes me feel good on the inside. So, little spoiler alert, I am already going to claim this is worth it. But keep watching, I want to slice these up further and continue to join pieces of wood to other pieces of wood. I like to think the more that I slice up pallet wood, the better it gets. However, the stockpile will start to shrink every time the timber goes through a machine. So at a guess, I think I'll have about enough pallet wood to create the waterfall top and side and have some sort of lamination pattern. I am thinking that I will go and buy, that's right, pay monies for timber for the base cabinet. That is also going to save me a heap of time, and I simply don't have enough reclaimed stock on hand. I also want a nice light uniform colour downstairs because there's going to be plenty going on up above, which means lots of tight bond gluing pieces of wood to other pieces of wood. However, glued offset on a 45 degrees so that I save a lot of waste. 45 degree slabs of pallet wood glory that I'll use for the pattern. Hopefully I'll have enough to go all across the top and down one side as per the SketchUp-aroo plans. With one square edge and the slab faces parallel, I can now make the cuts that are the precursor to revealing the pattern. Take your time and extra care when doing these cuts. Make sure your hands don't follow those 45s into the metal spinny thing. Bringing two zigzags together was a bit of a bastard, to be perfectly honest. Now when you're asking yourself, is it worth the effort or not, whether you are reclaiming the timber or buying it off the shelf, you have to admit, when this pattern starts to reveal itself, you can probably say, yes, it's worth it. I like this technique for including a spline in the miter. I place my mitered pieces back to back, which then creates the 90-degree edge you want to utilize your router with a little fence. It is a beautiful thing. Check square and alignment, glue, spline, clamp it all together, get all the pattern aligned as perfect as possible. As far as I can tell, the corner clamping is all going swimmingly. With my nemesis, the waterfall edge. Until, oh dear, check square. Waterfall edge, you win. Again. Moving on. A bit of finish will certainly lift my spirits. I'm trying out another hard wax oil. This one I picked up from Studio Doubled. It's Livix Kunos Countertop Oil, which has a nice matte finish. Well, was it worth it? My fur coat it was. I love this slab of pallet wood pattern glory. And I'm out of time. Stop the clock. That is all I can get done. Okay, so I'm on the bench for a few weeks. Let's call it light duties. I have to stay away from the dust for a little bit. I'll explain later. Also, it's confession time. The plan for this coffee table was to simply make something and sell something. However, I may not be able to do that. There is a few things that are not quite right, and these things do happen when you try something new technique, whatever. There is a couple of check square issues that got me good on this one. And I also made a blunder on the height of the waterfall. I forgot about the thickness of the slab. That can be fixed if I reduce the height of the overall cabinet in total. However, I have a few weeks to ponder my options. I still want to try the bendy legs. I also have a thing on the way to help me make the drawers. And as you know, I love drawers. Now this is a multiple phase operation that may take me a while. However, phase 1 is simply creating some more floor space. Oh! Alright. No room to slide. Oh, I just corked my ass. Being a dickhead. At the same time, I had my son Harley building a bench, which he sold as well. And if you need your faith restored in humanity, check out that video that'll pop up at the end of this one. Spoiler alert, it was just the mates. Placing a full-time job income is no easy task. That is why I am building a backup plan. Learning lots of things, trying different things, finding side hustles for the side hustles. YouTube is a side hustle. If you are thinking about firing up the channel, do it. Just get started. There are 8 billion people on this planet. You can find an audience. All right, who can relate to this? You get some bonus money from your side hustle. You feel good about making a sale, and then a big, hairy, unexpected bill comes in. Like the fridge shits itself, the car engine blows up, your child needs some sort of emergency something, and that cassiola goes straight out the door. However, what I always say is, what if I didn't have the bonus monies? I would be in the hurt locker. I would be up shit creek. That is why side hustles are the best. Woo! I tell you, I'm glad I'm not leaving. It'll be a bit sad. And a lot of work. But sometimes you have to open up a new chapter. So, please enjoy this one last hoorah. I'm saying goodbye to the table saw. I'm not going anywhere. G'day, my name's Dainsy and I have no plan for this. Now, you know I use lots of glue. And about once a year, I get a message from Justin Byers saying,
Yo, brother, how many gallons of glue you going through over there?
and I say, I have no idea. And he says,
That's freaking awesome, man. Y'all keep making y'all.
so I keep making.
Dang.
Y'all, and gluing.
Keep on making. But on, y'all. You follow through with the right motherfucker, what with you. Yeah.
Okay, my smaller offcuts pile is actually looking a little bit dark, despite all the different types of timbers. And it is not really a huge pile of laminated stock, so I have decided to bust out the final slabs of pallet wood from the 20 pallet harvest I did late last year. I still don't know what I want to make. However, I know what I want to see, so stick with me. This is what I want to see. Pallet wood and random offcuts, laminated end grain. Stick with me. Ooh, check this out. Alrighty, so I've got this far and I still don't actually know what I want to do with this. I'm having a creative lull.
I just want to join pieces of wood to other pieces of wood, do art and buy groceries.
Mate, what is all this? I don't actually remember.
Oh, you don't remember. You don't remember. From your videos. It was like this whole thing we did. It was kind of like our thing, right? It was the game plan. Join pieces of art to make grocery. Are you kidding?
Ah, of course. I remember. I just wanted to find another way to give these blokes a shout out. So if you're looking for more blokes to follow who like to join pieces of wood to other pieces of wood, check them out down below.
Mate, it's a table saw. Make a a table or something or whatever.
Make a table with a table saw. Genius. I decided to mix up the end grain with a little side grain, so this table does not look like Pablo Picasso had a crack at Minecraft, and I think it'll break up the overall look of the tabletop. I chose yellow skateboard veneer for a very specific reason, and a reason I am happy to share with you right now. It is because that is all I had lying around the shed. And as you may know, I am on a journey of declutterization, so it was more shit out the door. Okay, so I've been doing the old sneak up, sneak up, sneak up, sneak up, and then do one more, and it's loose. Every time. Okay, hot tip, after you've done your first one, check that you've taken away enough material before you do all of them. Dickhead. I gotta do all that again, because I'm not using a chisel. It's the last hurrah for the table saw.
Okay, so how much glue did y'all use on this?
I lost track. Sorry, mate.
Dang.
Not much. Whatever it was worth it for the stock that I have produced, which I can use later.
The bottle do. Way out on the glue. Keep making, yee.
As another final salute to the table saw, I wanted to give this a go. I am putting a nice large bevel on the underside, again to de-chunkify the frame somewhat. I also just want to highlight that although this is a smaller job site saw, if you make a few modifications and improvements, you can have a go at most things safely and with comparable results. Hopefully it's all right. Always check the camera's rolling for this bit. Oh! Pull the lid off there. Oh! Well, that's all right. This one's actually really matte finish and it's looking pretty bloody nice. So, for an experiment, I dig it. I need to chamfer. I need to feel good on the inside. And this is going to do it. Results may vary about how good this makes you feel good on the inside. Accentuate the balls up. So, this is it. Time to say goodbye, hooroo, scratch you later, to my old faithful table saw. I've done a lot with this saw, literally years of good times. I love what this saw has done for me, what this space has done for me, but let's face it, it is just a tool. And if I could just get one more minute of your time, what I really want to say is what has actually given me so much more than any material item or creative outlet that I have got from this shed. It is a particular type of comment or message, most of which is shared with me privately. However, the theme is pretty much the same. Random people from around the world just want to say thanks. Thanks to me for sharing what I do and how it has helped them. Help them just get started or just get started again, or it has helped pull them out of a pretty dark place in some cases. How gluing a few pallets together has brought them great joy and given them a heap of purpose. And that honestly is what keeps me going. I really appreciate it and I don't really know how to express it effectively. So, this saw, I'm going to box it up, I'm going to send it off to the bloke who helped me just get started. He is pretty light on tools right now, and I cannot think of a better place for this thing to go. Okay? Catch you later. One more project. I think after 5 years I'd know that it goes the other way around. So after emotionally farewelling my little yellow friend here, my wife asked me if we should simply buy a small bench for her studio. It was about 180 bucks. And I was like, hell no, I have 4 days off, I have a pine pallet, and I can whip up something suitable and also get to make a video. Bit of tight ass advice here. Don't go too tight ass on the grease proof paper. This one's about $2 and it is not grease proof enough. Spend the $4 and save yourself a heap of grief. I might turn the fan off. I did make a rookie error here. I used my stock to set the size of the cut to make, forgot about the thickness of the blade, so therefore that joint was out by the thickness of the blade. It is also the reason I decided to do one entire leg and corner first, in case I made any blunders, and it just let me iron out the process for the rest. I am trying something a little bit different with these particular corner joints. Simple but strong. They are not exactly aesthetically pleasing just yet, so stick with me. Alrighty, thanks for sticking with me. So I'm going to put a round over on all the edges to try and unify this frame and improve the overall look. Keep in mind, this is just a little bench to hold a few random asses here and there. Now, before I get to the beauty shots, I want to quickly talk about the biggest issue I have right now in the shed. Space. Space. The CNC has a very awkward footprint to fit anywhere in my shed, and simply something has to go, so I don't go insane trying to operate in this small space. So after about 2 coffees of consideration, I have decided to give the miter saw the arse and dedicate that space to the CNC. If there is one thing that woodworking has taught me, it is that there is many ways to get the same job done. I had no regrets selling the bandsaw. I had no regrets selling the bandsaw. And I already know I'll have no regrets saying goodbye to the miter saw. So, a simple pine pallet, whitewashed and clear coated. This style of finish was one of my most popular in my earlier pallet wood furniture projects. And it still is, especially for hallway tables, the frames. And pine is the most accessible when it comes to pallets. Now, this commercial piece of furniture is a reception desk, and it is going into my wife's business. So, it can't be at all dodgy, or she'll have to buy one, and I don't want that. I've got the thick slats, I've got the thin slats. This is the size stock I want to use. Now, 2 thins is greater than 1 thick. 3 thins is about the size of 2 thick, but then the kerf of the saw blade, that would be too small again. 4 thins, there's probably too much waste. So I think the safest bet, laminate all the thin slats together and then just resaw them into the thick slat. Whew, that wasn't even confusing. Can't slide left. I don't know what it is. I can't squiggle right to left, ideally. I don't think it really matters, to be honest. All I have to do is check square a few times to continue to work my way up the reception desk. With most of the brain work done, I can bust out the tight bond and do what I do best. Join pieces of wood to other pieces of wood. Okay. Time for the part that I've probably lost the most sleep over thinking about the process. This entire front face is going to be covered in the pine pallet half square, half round dowels. Initially, I'll just do a few pieces at a time until I establish a good routine and ensure that it all gets clamped down sufficiently. I ended up doing about 10 pieces at a time, and I would come back as the glue had set on each round until I made my way right over the pallet wood Sydney Harbour Bridge. I celebrated just a little bit early, but there's probably 2 mil there. Happy with that. Final component is a handbag / man bag shelf. Right, here it is. It's done. I think it looks pretty cool. The wife is happy. The wood up the top, way better idea than the pine. That was a bit shit. I would much rather find an old pallet, pull it apart, clean it up and turn it into something else, rather than see that pallet bulldozed into a hole in the ground. Okay? Thanks very much for watching. Catch you later. Black wall. Up there. Oh, okay. Yep. This story begins with this single pallet. The gamble paid off, and I have now revealed all the beautiful timber I'm going to be working with. It is 2 distinct variants of Hardius Fuckarius, which is most likely the red stuff and the brown stuff. Quick pause so I can introduce a few new characters. This is Dexter. He owns a skate shop. Spoiler alert, my massive debt is with him. As I don't have a huge amount of stock, my brain starts leaning towards a bench of some sort, and some sort of slatted bench, so I can stretch this stock as far as possible. However, I also like the side grain and the mix of colours that the pallet wood normally offers up. So I decide to laminate the different thickness boards together that will then give me the chunkier slats, which are more comfortable on the freckle, whilst still being aesthetically pleasing. But also, in my brain, I just wanted to get creative, have some fun, and make a piece of art. So if it is never to referred to as a nice piece of furniture, then maybe it would be referred to as a piece of art. And failing both of those, I guess it will be referred to as a piece of shit. Alrighty then, back to the bench. What if I make Dexter a bench because a keyring or bottle opener is simply not going to cut it? I need to restore the woodworker skateboarder relationship. See, I have no skills with SketchUp, but what I can do is join pieces of digital shapes to other pieces of digital shapes to create one very one-of-a-kind design for this piece of. I hope you just didn't say shit. And also carry out some sophisticated gluteus maximus testing and make sure the arse end of a human would actually be comfortable sitting on the slats in that orientation. If I were ever to do something like this again, I would probably laminate all of my veneers onto the ply first and then do the cuts on the CNC with a nice sharp bit. I'm sure I could have saved a fair bit of time, but again, the skateboards are a finite resource and I did not want to risk any stock on an unproven concept. With most of the ply laminated, it was now just a case of filling in the gaps one little piece of art at a time until the entire faces were covered in sadness. What? That's not right. Radness. Covered in radness. I was quite chuffed with myself and it worked a treat. Later on, I'll show you that it was a massive waste of time. I am a little worried though. My dad was visiting and I show him my progress, and with a puzzled look on his face, he says, "It looks like something that I'd make." And trust me, that is not a compliment. So I say, "Dad, stick with me." Alrighty, Dad, thanks for sticking with me. If someone were to get a little bit rough on the bench and there is only a tiny bit of gluing surface joining those pieces of wood to the other pieces of wood. Right, back to the box. I was not happy with the jagged edges that the uneven beveled skateboard has created, So I'm going to carefully rip off a mega chamfer all around the box. Alrighty, I'm loaded up, I'm ready to go. I have the debt payment in this bag here. So, see how I go. I'm actually a little bit nervous. So off I go, quietly shitting myself to reintroduce myself to Dexter. And if you are hoping or expecting to see the grand surprise moment of when I reveal the bench to Dexter, well, that is not going to happen. This moment was about re-establishing the relationship between woodworker and skateboarder. And it would have felt completely weird. And to be honest, very, very awkward. So, you'll have to trust me that it went exactly as expected. And Dexter said the words I so desperately needed to hear when I showed him the photos of this bench and offered it to him. Which is, yeah man, that is fully sick. It would look wicked in the shop. Would you like some coin? No, I don't want some coin. But with my debt paid and relations restored, if you have any broken skateboards lying around the shop, then please let me know. And Dexter said, of course man. And we lolled. Can you hear my brain ticking over? Me too. Alrighty, the quick Dainsy backstory. This is not me. This is me. For my full-time job, I'm a rescue helicopter air crewman. I work on a flying ambulance. I'm the dude that sends people up and down the winch cable. I don't jump out of the aircraft, nor do I fly it, unless things have gone pretty pear-shaped for the pilot. Going back a few steps, I went to high school, which was the only time I did any prior woodwork. Not long after school, I joined the army as an infantry soldier, and just after a few years, I figured out that why walk around the bush with your house on your back busting your freckle when I could fly around the bush. So I joined Army Aviation and I spent the remainder of my time in the Green Machine as a Black Hawk helicopter air crewman. And then once the novelty of that wore off, the logical transition to civilian life was the rescue helicopter industry. So here I am now, an emergency services shift worker. Okay, see this bit? It needs to be in there. How do I basically work full-time and work full-time? Well, the reality is the roster. With the kids at school and me on days off, there is actually way more time available compared to, say, your Monday to Friday 9 to 5 job. Okay, so I broke it. I broke this. All that effort, I'm probably going to have to get this thing repaired with some sort of magical welding caper. As I shifted into YouTube, I continued making pallet punter type build videos. However, I started to choose projects that were either a little more interesting or there was a technique or trick that I wanted to try. And if you're still here, well, thank you. Now, don't get too excited. There is not going to be a big reveal of an amazingly organized OCD level toolbox. Sorry. That's cool. Puzzle can be changed over time and eventually be something pretty cool, which, like my workbench, I hope I'll be able to hand those both down to the kids one day. The woodworking side hustle has mostly evolved into a woodworking content side hustle. That is the main business and the focus, but is that alone enough to take a massive punt on? I've always said I'm building a backup plan out here in the shed with a goal to go full business human. Can I quit my job and rely on YouTube ad revenue and sponsors alone? Absolutely not. Which brings me to right now. It's decision time. The last few months I have been pondering the idea of stepping back off the roster into a training role for many reasons, like less night shifts, but also because I need a bit of a spell. There's one thing that can top this off now. And that is to put a chamfer on this edge. And this edge. And this one. And this one. And then I'm going to be feeling pretty good on the inside. Things at work, again, changed just recently. We have lost a lot of personnel, including my boss. He's on my good humans list. He is taking a spell himself, and well, his shoes need to be filled. And the person to do that right now looks a lot like me, apparently. So what does that actually mean right now? It means far less shed time, as this position very much looks like Monday to Friday. Let me say this though, Dainer Made is not over, nor is the ultimate goal of going full business human. It is merely on hold for a short amount of time. I will still be making projects and videos. They may just not come out as frequently as I would like or have done in the past, but that's okay. Sometimes you just have to make the decisions that is the right thing to do.